unfortunate for him.
There's worse ways to go.
There are worse ways to go. There we go.
Rhonda's here. Rhonda Miller. Rhonda Miller's amazing. Rhonda Miller is a multi-refuge alumni
Sweet.
of myriad classes. Hardcore, badass lady. She's awesome.
Well, hi, Rhonda.
Yeah,
it's good to see you.
Rhonda's super cool. Good morning, everybody. It is We're All Gonna Die Wednesday. I'm sorry, I meant White Girl Wednesday. It's
synonymous.
We were talking about before we went live, like there's worse ways to go than taken out by a white girl. But maybe we'll talk about some of those today.
Yeah, perhaps.
It is the 18th of March, 2026. Anno Domini, the year of our Lord. And I am Bear from the internet, and you are
Melissa, Chief of Staff.
Chief of Staff. You are married, but not to me.
Yeah, we need to cover this, apparently.
And I am married, but not to you, because
Yes.
apparently there's a bunch of people who are very confused.
Yes.
This is not my wife. This is
No.
my little sister.
I'm Lissa. You will never see my husband on camera. This is T. He's married to Harmony.
Yeah. If you've been here for a hot minute, you know what my wife actually looks like and sounds like. So
Yeah, or go to Refuge Medical on YouTube, and there she is.
Speaking of, Heather, the needy homesteader from Ruckus this weekend.
Mm-hmm. She's precious.
What an amazing human being.
Yeah.
And
a good hugger.
She's a phenomenal hugger. She reminds me of my mom because she's little.
She's little.
But she's filled with love.
Yes.
And so really good hugs. But she stopped by the refuge office and was like, there's all these badass ladies here everywhere.
Yeah, and you're one of them.
Just doing amazing things.
So,
all right. So we have a written brief. We have, I have a little whiteboard. If you guys want to, I know some of y'all like to, there's the whiteboard. Go ahead and do some handwriting analysis. We're going to talk about all of these things, but I do want to say this. Let's preface the brief today with you and I both this morning dedicated at least an hour to trying to find good things to talk about today.
Yeah.
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 How'd that go for you?
I can't find anything on the news I want to talk about, good or bad. I just don't want to talk about it. I'm here. This is my job.
Yeah, I'm also here because this is my job. And it's interesting to me because one would think, providing intel briefs and making YouTube content, that the current world situation would be like phenomenal for me. I think it's gay, being honest. Like having wars on 3 continents and being on the collapse of, or on the verge of economic collapse. And we've got a capitulation scenarios, a runaway executive branch and the runaway judicial branch and a non-existence legislative branch, but all that. Joseph Aquilino, gay.
Correct.
That was my bassist back in the day. It's still my bassist. I just haven't seen him in a hot minute. Badger, you don't need to delete Joe Aquilino. He's cool. Trust me. I've known him longer than I've known my wife. He's good to go.
So anyway, then I went to work because I had to be the decision maker for a second.
You had to go be a boss.
And
checks out.
I asked all my people, what's the good news that we should talk about? Is there any good news anywhere for anything? And I got what I think is the correct response, which is, look, I just got new pictures of my grandbabies. And oh my gosh, look at my family. And guess what? I just sold one of my cows. And that's the good stuff. So how about you all drop the good stuff in the live chat?
Yes.
Like, what's the blessings for you today?
100%.
What makes you happy to be breathing this morning?
100%.
Because we need more of that. I need more of that.
Good morning, Buckets and Bibles. And ultimately, the good news. What's the good news? The gospel. You are desperately loved and sought after. And there's a way for you to come home again by the blood of Messiah so that you can have life and life abundantly and an eternal life with that you are the heir to the seed of Abraham, that Yahweh made flesh has atoned for your sins, and there can be remediation for all of your transgressions, and there can be peace and gentleness and love and kindness and faithfulness and self-control and wisdom and discernment and all these gifts in the spirit and healing and forgiveness by the blood of Messiah. That's the good news. That's the gospel. That's the kingdom of Elohim here on earth. And so
you guys are making my whole spine tingle with all your happy things. This is awesome.
No sin is greater than his grace. Amen. I talked about that this weekend at the Ruckus. It is not possible for you to out-sin his love for you. And I am living proof of that. So I think that's the most important thing that needs to be conveyed. We want to, you know what? I'm going to read the brief, but I think we're going to speed read it. Okay. That way I feel like we've done our due diligence. The dance monkeys, like,
they did a good job. It is a good
brief. They do a good job. I pay them to do a good job.
That's good.
Like, you know, we should honor them.
We should.
And read the brief.
And they're not, like, they gave us good variety today.
Oh, hold on. That's a hell of a question that I must answer.
Oh, okay. We've got tons of new baby livestock and thriving homesteads and businesses that are booked out in the best way and happy families, healthy kiddos. See, this is the good stuff, guys. This is what we should be looking at. Not disasters half a world away. Truck stops are still selling diesel and I'm still getting paid per mile. Amen. 6 months seizure free. That's awesome.
Praise God. That's awesome. We've known
new baby. Congratulations, Jared.
So one of my favorite things about the Ruckus this year was there was a woman that last year I had the honor to baptize.
Mm-hmm.
And I've lost track of how many people I've baptized because I don't keep score because it's the Father's points, not mine.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, hundreds, and I don't necessarily remember all the people that I've baptized.
Sure, that makes sense.
But I remember this lady because it was so powerful and impactful, right?
Mm.
She was just vibrating in the spirit, right?
That's awesome.
And I see her this year, and she's got a 3-month-old baby with her, and she needed baptism for, you know, redemption, renewal, and healing. She got a 3-month-old baby with her, and I was like, "Good job." She goes, "We did the math. It was the day after baptism last year that I got pregnant." And I gave her a hug, and I could just feel the love. It was so good. It was so good, man.
Precious.
It was awesome. So yeah, that's the good stuff. All right, let's talk about something that's gay.
Okay.
The Strait of Taiwan hosts passage, and this,
definitely
no knock on the dance monkeys. They're just doing their job.
This is what they are paid to do.
There are seasons for everything, and the season that I'm in right now is Christ in the Spirit, not this worldly garbage.
Yeah.
However, we'll do our due diligence. The Strait of Taiwan hosts passage for nearly half of the world's container shipments, and Taiwan's chokehold on the semiconductor supply chain is now a well-known concern for the global tech supply chain. What moves has Beijing been making during the current chaos, and how might that bode for the future of Taiwan? Starting with oil, as of January, Beijing was sitting on an estimated 1.2 billion barrels of onshore crude, which reportedly translates to roughly 3 to 4 months of reserves, as compared to our SPR, Strategic Petroleum Reserve. They don't like it when you give those numbers away because they're classified. But if you were to pick a number somewhere between 6 and 8, if you were to find any random number between the number 6 and the number 8, that would be how many days are currently in the SPR for the United States of America. So 3 to 4 months versus somewhere between 6 and 8 days. Okay. Analysts at the OCBC, oil something, noted that China has accumulated, quote, one of the world's largest strategic and commercial crude reserves, end quote, and that its, quote, rapid transition towards electric vehicles and renewable energy provides an additional structural hedge, unquote. Yes, the Strait of Hormuz also matters to China. Interestingly, Strait of Hormuz, Persian death cult, familiar with those people over there? Okay, so the Persian death cult, which now may be run by a one-legged gay man, which is hysterical to me. It's gonna go great in that hardcore Muslim culture over
Absolutely, yeah. He's gonna make it for so many minutes.
Yeah, his lifespan is
extensive.
Can be measured in seconds.
Yep.
In any event, the Persian death cult, their pre-war production capability, or capacity rather, was in the neighborhood of 1.5 million barrels per day. Okay. 1.38 to 1.4 of that was going to China. Now, as a percentage of total oil to China, that only represents about 8% of China's oil consumption.
Okay.
But that's still a big deal. If I took away 8% of your money, you'd probably not be happy about it.
Substantial.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Tactically, Torah. You have such a way with words, T. Thanks, Tato.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been told that once or twice. So in any event, the Straits of Hormuz matters, but it matters to China. Back to the brief. And when the Persian death cult started choking the strait, Beijing pressed Tehran, the capital of the Persian death cult, to allow safe passage for oil tankers. Iran has floated two ideas. One, to allow Chinese-linked oil tankers to pass through, and two, to let a limited number of tankers through, but only if oil cargoes were paid in Chinese yuan. So, Strait of Hormuz, most of the energy in that area flows through it, and it's a perfect ambush point. There's a bend in the waterway there. There's a little isle that juts out into it. It's a perfect ambush point. So, which is why you have the Houthis and Hezbollah and Houthi and the Blowfish and Hillary Clinton and anybody else who starts with an H over there launching missiles at stuff. And they've mined the straits, and the IRGC, they've got like thousands of small autonomous boats laden with explosives that they can use for attacks. Big ships do very poorly against small, fast boats. It's a whole thing. That's how Eric Prince got started in contracting, by the way. Blackwater, yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Anyway, so it's a problem. Well, what they're suggesting, what Iran is suggesting, is that either if the ships flowing through the Strait of Hormuz are Chinese flagged, leave them alone. Don't shoot them. Don't blow them up. Or if they're anybody's ships, as long as they pay for passage in Chinese yuan, then we will let them through. So clearly these two things are linked. I've said that the Persian death cult war is a proxy between the United States and China. I stand by that. Here's more evidence of that. Let's see. Convenient timing for paying with yuan, given that Xi Jinping, who's been kind of quiet lately, called for the yuan to achieve world reserve currency status back in February. Meanwhile, China's Eastern Theater Command just commissioned two new Type 55, technically the 055, guided missile destroyers, bringing its fleet of these ships to 10. Guided missile destroyers. Big ship, lots of pokey things on it, shoots them through the sky. Each of these carries 112 vertical launch cells capable of firing anti-air, anti-ship, or land attack missiles, and they can conduct anti-submarine warfare too.
Sweet.
There's a lot of hardware and a very small amount of water out there, and that's one of the things that's making lots of people concerned. Now, the Chinese have been sitting on the sidelines here. They haven't done much overtly. They've done a lot covertly. I told you all that they were given an $800 billion line of credit. The Iranians were given an $800 billion with a B line of credit for Chinese military aid just prior to this thing starting. Okay. So that's kind of a problem. And if I was China, I'd want to fight this war over there to see how my stuff is going to do against the Americans before I fight the Americans' large-scale combat operations in the Indo-PACOM, aka before Taiwan kicks off. interestingly, Taiwan and incursions into the ADIZ, Air Defense Identification Zone in Taiwan, are down significantly. Like they've just been pressed pause on that for the last 2 weeks. Because maybe they're not doing as good as they thought they were gonna, which for me, why do I care? Why do y'all care? Because if China can't do the things that they say that they can do and that we have assessed that they can do, then that really affects what EIEIO looks like.
Yeah.
Okay. And if those assessments are wrong, I will be the first one to tell you with a smile on my face, yo, guys, the threat is not as bad as we thought it was.
That's a good day.
My bad.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. But we don't know that yet. The PLA, or People's Liberation Army, appears to be building out a credible escort capability for amphibious assault ships, the kind you need if you were to, say, plan on putting troops on a beach somewhere close by. Interestingly, the USS Tripoli, with about 2,500 jarheads, is headed to the Persian death cult AO. And what are they going to do? Take and hold islands and land, because the grass must grow. It's as simple as that. I'm thinking of Rutledge right now. Hoorah, Marine Corps. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. By the way, Rutledge, let's brag on that, brother. Good stuff for a minute.
Sure.
They had some storms up there. There was some storm damage. And he and his mutual assistance group got out their safety vests and their chainsaws and went out and just started handling it.
Good.
And that's exactly what I want to see from you guys out there.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it like.
You don't need anyone else to tell you how to do that. Just go do good stuff.
So like, is Grindstone awesome? Yeah. Grindstone's literally out reconning storms right now. Grindstone's got a pretty simple mission. Go love on people. And when you're not doing that, stay ready to go love on people. Right. And so should you support and join Grindstone? Sure, absolutely. We'd love to have you. Do you need Grindstone to do that? No, it's just the model, man. Yeah.
And it's a replicatable model. So
yeah,
go replicate it.
It's pickup trucks and chainsaws. And if you can find something that runs on diesel fuel that's got a grapple on the end, you're winning, man.
And sometimes you don't even need chainsaws. We were talking about that yesterday.
Like,
where are you? Is there something else you can be doing?
Yeah, if you're in North Dakota, you probably don't need a chainsaw.
Nope.
If you're in Maine,
you need a snow shovel.
If you're in Maine, you need a chainsaw and a snow shovel. So I just wanted to brag on Rutledge for a minute.
Yeah.
And Indiana Constitutional Patriots, they're out there just kicking ass, loving their neighbors themselves, doing what they're supposed to do. Thoughts on Chinese military hardware being fairly ineffective. So that's the rub right now, because most of everything that was provided to Venezuela was old school technology. Most of what had been provided to Iran previously was old school technology, but the new stuff started trickling in just before this conflict with the United States. And so just like if you buy something off of Temu here, it's not going to be China's best manufacturing, right?
No.
But they say what they have done is they've industrialized their manufacturing base, and it is all run by the government. Okay, so there's multiple tiers of production capability, and the best production capability, allegedly, is assessed to be going to the military for defense. And so,
which makes sense. That you should filter your own highest quality into your own protection.
100%.
Like, that's what I would do.
Mountainside with Ken and Amy. A ewe is lambing as we speak. Praise Yah. Praise Yah. Okay, so Song Chen-en, Deputy Minister of Taiwan's Ocean Affairs Council, speaking to the Japan Times, said, quote, "We need to be fully aware of Beijing capability to stage a full blockade. There's no question they're practicing a circle of Taiwan. They are rehearsing use of force to prevent a ship from entering a port. Best job to prevent that from happening. Thank you so much." That's what he said. Another indicator, China's 2026 government work report quietly changed its standard language on Taiwan, replacing opposing Taiwan independence with cracking down on Taiwan independence. A small edit to a policy document like this can actually reflect significant shifts in intent. Add to that China's proposed $278 billion defense budget for 2026, a 7% increase, even as GDP growth hits its lowest target since 1991. that supports the fact that all economies around the world are circling the drain. When resources get scarce, wars crop up. That's part of what we're seeing right now. I did want to touch on that for a minute. Denominating the dollar. Okay, it's one of the things that we're figuring out. I'm not involved in this. Nobody asked me. But when I say big we at a federal level, and honestly, a global level. Like I asked yesterday, rhetorically, has anybody bombed the Rothschilds recently? No. Probably not going to happen. So in Iran, there were 53.4 million tons of sulfide gold that was located. 53 million tons. That's a lot.
That's so much.
That's a lot of gold. Okay. Now, extracting it's a whole nother story.
Sure, but it's there.
But it's there, as well as oil.
Yeah.
Same thing with Venezuela. There's gold and precious metals there, as well as oil. Interesting. So and this is broad brushstrokes. I don't claim to be an expert at this stuff, but I talk to people who are, and they try and feed it to me in bite-sized bits that I can understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Talk to me like I'm 5 energy.
Exactly. So there's 3 primary categories by which we can denominate the dollar. One is precious metals, which is my preference. The next is oil, which is what we currently do and have been doing for about 80 years. And then the last is digital.
Yeah.
And the problem with digital, as I understand it, is that there's a lot of people that are not interested in having their transactions run on the blockchain.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They don't want the clarity and the fidelity that brings. And so Iran's central bank, or the CBI, facilitates a shadow banking network laundering billions in dark money to evade sanctions and fund operations. In 2024, the U.S. Treasury identified approximately $9 billion in shadow activity linked to Iranian oil sales. The network, spanning UAE, Hong Kong, Singapore, and also, quiet part out loud, London, where one-legged gay boy, who's the new president, lived, used front companies, specialized exchange houses, and increasing amounts of cryptocurrency to bypass the global banking system.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's from a banking standpoint, that's part of what's going on in Iran, is if you blow up all the infrastructure, it's really hard to network financially, which makes me think, when we think about the UAE, some of the missiles that the Iranians launched there, what were they targeting? Were they targeting their own infrastructure to cover some of their own tracks, perhaps?
Maybe.
So there are, this is going to surprise you, there are global elites that play at a significantly higher level than we do. And removing or contesting some of that infrastructure, we may be seeing a power struggle between what the future of denominating the dollar as the global world currency looks like, which is oil, precious metals, or digital. Those are kind of the big 3 buckets right there.
Yeah.
Currently using oil, which is why, like right now, silver spot this morning was $78. Gold was $4,900, both of which are up year over year, but not the highs that they were at, because there was a lot of manipulation.
Control mechanisms put in place. Yep.
A lot of manipulation. Oil's sitting at $95 a barrel right now, up from 40-ish. So, and I would expect it to go up because Strait of Hormuz. Trump is saying we're going to send troops in there if nobody else wants to send troops, even as the USS Tripoli steams that direction with 2,500 Marines. We will secure the Strait of Hormuz so that energy can flow.
Right.
We will ensure those ships coming through there. So the U.S. is going to take control of that, which is literally part of the global oil supply, while denying that to China, redirecting it towards our interests and using that to denominate the dollar to help try and continue to prop up the strength of the U.S. dollar.
Yeah.
All of which, just to be clear, is gay.
Oh, we're right back there.
We're right back there. See this? Can you all see that? Listen. That's what money sounds like.
Everything is up and down, though. Like, you can look at charts on precious metals, you can look at charts on oil, you can look at charts on Bitcoin, you can look at whatever. That's how markets work. If something is static, like straight line, something's wrong. So there's not There's no point in getting super spun up. It's like the only time you get hurt on the roller coaster is if you get off while it's still moving. So don't make eye contact with stuff like that if it's easy for you to get spun up.
That's a good word. Then there's that odd pause recently. For about 2 weeks, starting February 27th, the day before the U.S.-Israeli strikes on Iran, Chinese military aircraft essentially stopped flying near Taiwan's air defense identification zone. It was the longest quiet stretch since 2021. Taiwanese Defense Minister Wellington Koo, that's a hell of a name, warned that Taiwan should not already have got it down. Some analysts thought Beijing dialed it back to avoid handing Taiwan's ruling party ammunition during a defense budget debate, or to avoid complicating Trump's planned visit to China for trade talks. My understanding whisper campaign is that those talks are off. Yeah, it may still happen. Nobody really knows. I'm very unpredictable. But those talks are currently off. But the most consequential explanation is that the PLA may be shifting from daily gray zone harassment towards genuine joint operations training. Just recently, activity returned with 26 Chinese military planes and 7 naval ships spotted around the island as well. Analysts like Australian Strategic Policy Institute's Joe Keary believe that Beijing is more likely to continue its coercive actions and economic pressures to erode Taiwan's will and options rather than overt military action. But while the U.S. munitions deplete in the Middle East, we see yuan strengthening moves, the oil independence strategy, the shift in policy language, increasing military capability, plus ongoing military drills around Taiwan. All of these point in the same direction, almost like China's got a plan. And a plan. How interesting. The PLAN, the People's Liberation Army Navy, which is absurd.
They like acronyms. You like acronyms. At least you're on the same foot there.
Yeah, the acronymization of everything is
stressful.
Simply required.
Stressful.
All right. I've got to pee. You want to talk about KH stuff?
Sure.
Okay. Come on over.
Okay.
All right.
Swapsies.
Every time.
Every time. We need to move more. We rearranged one of the entire offices yesterday. Almost done. We threw away like 4 totes of stuff.
That dumpster's full.
It was awesome. Yeah. So stuff had to go, which was great. And then this office is also on the list of, I'm just going to go through and throw away half of everything because that's where I'm at right now. And we need to be able to move. KH update. So we've just had a phenomenal last couple of weeks. Yes, I got a new chair. Thank you. Yeah, this is my new chair, which is not made of that weird rubber material. This morning I got a text. I can't actually show you my phone because it's not predictable, but I got a text that the first welding fitting was put in for a massive infrastructure project that we have been working on for months. And by we, I mean my guys, because I have not been terribly involved in that apart from throwing money at things and running to pick stuff up for them. So I am super, super proud of them. They are working so hard. This is one of the last steps. This project is one of the last steps that's truly necessary before we can start working towards occupancy, which is amazing. And so that's going really well. We have a couple of volunteers on site that started this week. They'll be here through next week. I just went through and did photo documentation yesterday. One of the teams is over halfway through hanging sheetrock in our administration building, which is also one of our key must-have done buildings. And so they are just flying through that. It looks incredible. I'm so, so proud of them. My life has been chaos. The ruckus was incredible. I got to talk to so many of you. Thank you for taking the time to track me down and tell me your stories. It was really cool to be able to just to hear how the Father is impacting you, and get to shake your hand and like see the people who are supporting us. Cause I spend a lot of time alone, or at least like just our team together. And it can be very isolating. Like, you know that there are people out there that support and love on you, but you don't get to see them. And this weekend, that was completely opposite. We got to see you guys. We got to see you in action. We got to see you. You raised $110,000 over the weekend at the Ruckus to support KALEB House, which was just an incredible gift. And then 64 baptisms, which was amazing. Awesome Saturday fellowship. I got to meet with some people who are interested in supporting us with large-scale connections. So I'm going to start working on that today. I did try to zero out my inbox last night. So if you were waiting to hear from me, I hope you heard from me. We're setting up for more volunteers and trying to figure out what that needs to look like in order for everyone to be successful and for me to steward your guys' time well, because I really want to do that. Yeah, for all of you who did the remote ruck, thank you for joining in. That was so cool to see your guys' pictures and videos coming in and know. I think we had 38 states represent on remote ruck, and then in person as well, and a couple of different continents. And yeah, overall, like, thank you. Just thank you for how much you support us, for everything that you have poured into KALEB House. We're doing the things. There were several different things on the advocacy side that also got pushed forward this weekend. We're going to start really actively doing some supply basing, which I'm excited about, and distributing stuff from our main hub, which is going to be really good. We're sending stuff out the door this afternoon, actually, which is awesome. So, scooched.
Did you say all the words you need to say?
I said all the words.
Good job.
Yeah. So it was awesome. Thank you guys for coming to the Ruckus. Site moves forward at speed, and I'm thrilled.
Sermon was mind-blowing. Luke and speakers were incredible too.
Yeah, they really were.
Praise y'all. Don't worry, Texas Sheep Lady. I will move this pen before I start driving, so if I get into a wreck, it does not go into my throat, because she told me about that.
You should push the Amazon shopping list. Listen, just because it exists doesn't mean that everybody needs to know we're launching that on April 1st. We'll see you on April 1st with the official launch of the Amazon registry for this spring. We do them twice a year. We run both for 30 days.
On April Fool's Day?
On April Fool's Day, we will be launching an Amazon registry for KALEB House. Well, I can't launch it the day after because that's Passover.
That's fair.
So,
well, asterisk depends on who you are.
Correct.
So.
That's when I am observing Passover. So on White Girl Wednesday, which also happens to be April 1st, there will be new fundraiser stuff going on.
How do you prioritize your own preps with God will provide? So preparedness is biblical. Read that in Revelation, and the woman fled to a place prepared for her in the wilderness. How was it prepared? There were certain people, myself included, that had a conviction to make those preparations for people that they'd never met before in the spirit. What about Joseph, Egypt, and Goshen? Okay. Joseph put out 7 years of grain so that the people wouldn't starve. Same concept as the manna that fell in the wilderness. It fell, but it didn't fall into their mouths. They had to get out of their tent and go and pick it up. So, what we call preparedness now is what people even 50 years ago called normal. I grew up in upstate New York where we have real winters. And if we didn't have at least 5 months worth of food in the pantry, it was going to be a very rough winter. And what we call preparedness and homesteading and permaculture now was just normal for us.
Yeah.
We had cows, we had chickens, we had horses, we had woods that had sheep and that had deer and turkeys in them. We had stocked ponds, and you'd just go, we had 2 acres of garden. And that's just the way that it was, with acres and acres and acres under hay. We put up our own hay and sell hay to other people. And that's just a farm life. That's just normal. I think where preparedness has the ability to become an idol and take away from the preservation of life is especially when you get into an urban and suburban context where all it looks like is buying stuff and putting it on a shelf or in a box or in a tote. and you ask yourself, well, when am I ever going to use any of this? It's because honestly, you're fairly removed from a biblical lifestyle. A biblical lifestyle is agricultural. You know, you're supposed to go outside and look at the sky. That's Genesis 1 for signs and appointed times. You're supposed to breathe air. That's the spirit, John chapter 3. You're supposed to touch dirt because that's what you're made of. You're supposed to be in and partake of living water. That's redemption in the spirit. Like you're supposed to be out. Like skin's waterproof, people.
Yes,
like
it is.
You're supposed to be outside. You're supposed to be interacting, ruling, and subduing with your environment. And when you get away from that, whether it's from a preparedness context or not, there's less fulfillment, there's less joy, there's less purpose and meaning. And so when you take that lack, and then you layer that over the top of preparedness, where it becomes burn the Amex and, you know, make sure that Bezos has a nice dividend check this month because you got to have the stuff that you need in order to not die. That's just another facet of a life that is where you're quietly dying on the inside anyway, because you're disconnected from the source of life. So that's my 2 cents.
That also circles back to like heart set and also mental health, because all of the things that you just listed there's documentation, there's studies on getting your feet and your hands into dirt recenters you, regrounds you, reduces anxiety. Looking at running water can lower your blood pressure and like calm your mind. Just go look at a stream for a while. And that's, I think, where preparedness and provision can get really messed up, is when you're all spun up and anxious and overstimulated and overwhelmed. Like that's not trusting in provision. It's, I think Badger threw it in the comments, is the leaning on a shovel and praying for a hole.
Yeah.
Like do the hard work, because then you've done the hard work. It's good for you, but
well, the
don't
work,
panic about it.
The work is appointed to a son in the house. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Like
you're part of the family. You need to participate in the family activities.
Yeah. Do your chores.
Yep.
Simple as that. Do your chores, you'll get your allowance.
Yep.
But you can't do enough chores to become part of the family.
Correct.
You just are, because you're in the house, there are chores that are appointed to you.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of that kind of thing, there's something I want to bring up that is national news that's just getting lost in the sauce regarding everything with Iran. One last thing on Iran before we jump off. From analyzing consumption data, not from reporting, from analyzing consumption data based upon medical consumption and flights that have moved, it's estimated that thus far in the ground war and air war with the Persian death cult, we estimated, and you won't get this anywhere else, so don't try and OSIN it, about 2,100 wounded, about 600 KIA, and 2 MIA currently. Joint Base McGuire-Dix is Force Protection Condition Charlie, which means either there's an ongoing threat or the threat is imminent. And also MacDill Air Force Base, which is home to CENTCOM, is also Force Protection Condition Charlie. So, which means there's either a threat ongoing or the threat is imminent. And so, yeah, just put that in your pipe and smoke it. Let's see. Good. That handles the little whiteboard. Nebraska
is on fire.
As historic wildfires in Nebraska. Have you ever read an article on camera?
No.
You want to try it sometime?
Not today.
Not today.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, happy to later.
As historic wildfires in Nebraska continue to roar across amid a western heat wave, Governor Jim Pillen and incident commanders expressed hope Tuesday that they may soon turn a corner. The state's 4 major blazes, which were blamed for at least one death. Oh my gosh. My fingers are not qualified for this.
I found a mouse at 9:05 that you need to bring
There's
here.
2 of them right there.
Why aren't you using them?
Because they don't work on this surface.
So you need
I need a mouse
pad. Got it.
So this is why we have a chief of staff. Mouse pad, earbuds. All right. The state's 4 major blazes, which were blamed for at least one death and have burned nearly 800,000 acres, were described by Pillen on Sunday as the largest wildfires in our history. Generals are always pressing their staff for the turning point in the campaign, he said Tuesday. I can't give you a definite answer on the turning point, but that day will come. As the week started, the firefight in western Nebraska was aided by a lull in wind gusts that over the weekend had created firestorms and reached 61 miles per hour on Saturday, according to the National Weather Service. Look at that picture. The short reprieve Monday allowed Pillen, command staffers, and firefighters to embrace optimism, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Gusts are still at 35 miles an hour. Several thousand head of cattle have been lost. And I just wanted to point you to this. I want to give credit where credit is due. I was listening to the Wright Report with Brian Dean Wright this morning at about 4:45 in the morning. And he brought out in his podcast today that the Nebraska Cattlemen.org, Nebraska Cattlemen, MEN, cattlemen.org, is coordinating relief for this and accepting funds and in-kind donations because there's been thousands of homes and ranches that have been destroyed, thousands and thousands of head that have been lost, hundreds of thousands of acres that have burned, fences, barns, tractors, homes, everything gone up in a blaze. And so NebraskaCattlemen.org, you can email them. You can go to the website, NebraskaCattlemen.org.
It's going in the chat.
Or you can call them at 402-475-2333, 402-475-2333. Mark time, 41 minutes, 18 seconds in, 402-475-2333. Find them at Nebraska Cattlemen, MEN.org if you want to help. And I'm going to see what, if anything, we can do as well. So just wanted to bring that out because it's being wildly underreported per usual, having been with Grindstone for 6 years now, 7 if you go off of the founding documents of Grindstone. A lot of the disaster relief efforts and the storms that have required them are vastly underreported because the national and international news cycle just skips right over them. And so just wanted to shine a little light on what's happening to our brothers and sisters in Nebraska right now. T. Larkin, if you don't know T's relationship status, I'd call that an indicator. Yeah, you haven't been here very long, which is okay. Welcome, noobs. Just get up to speed.
Please
get
up to speed so we can quit answering comments.
There's another thing that I wanted to touch on. This is the only article looking for good news this morning that I was like, oh, this will work.
40 minutes I spent scrolling the internet.
I wouldn't even say that it's good news. I just find it interesting. The race to establish a logo to tell you if what you're consuming is AI free.
That would be helpful.
Organizations worldwide are endeavoring to develop a universally recognized label for human-made products and services. Declarations like proudly human, human-made, no AI, and AI-free are appearing across films, marketing, books, and websites. BBC News reports that it has counted at least 8 different initiatives trying to come up with a label that could get the kind of global recognition that Fair Trade logo has for ethically made products. But with so many competing labels, as well as confusion over the definition of AI-free, experts say consumers are in danger of being left confused unless a single standard can be agreed on. Quote, AI is creating significant disruption and competing definitions of what is human-made and confusing consumers, says consumer expert Dr. Anna Khan from Manchester Metropolitan University. A universal definition is essential to build trust, clarification, and confidence, she told BBC News. The arts industry, blah, blah, blah. AI is now, quote, AI is now so ubiquitous and so integrated into different platforms and services that it's truly complicated to establish what AI-free means, says AI research scientist Sasha Lucioni. Sasha Lucioni, that's a hell of a name. From a technical perspective, it's hard to implement. I think that AI is a spectrum and we need more comprehensive certification systems rather than a binary with AI versus AI-free approach. All right.
She's not wrong because there's a lot of things that get really confusing when someone uses, like, people use AI to proofread stuff all the time.
Yep.
They wrote the thing, it's just checking for spelling and grammatical errors, but that would technically be AI usage. And then you go all the way to the other side where it's like AI wrote this entire article and created all of the pictures, and I'm just annoyed.
We recently, a few weeks ago, I put a report up, a brief up, and people were like, "Yo, why are you putting up AI generated content?" And so I contacted the dance monkeys, this particular dance monkey. I was like, "Did you use AI to write this?" And the long and short was, "No, sir, I just sound like a robot." And I was like, "Okay, could you try and sound more like a person?" So it is a spectrum. There are lines in there as to what's what. So I just wanted to bring that up because I think that's important, especially going forward, to try and support. I can't believe this phrase has to be stated, but we should try and support humanity to the best of our ability.
Yeah.
And prioritize
real people.
Humanity.
Yep.
Like Curie's jam.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You could make it with a robot, but would it still be Curie's jam if you made it with a robot?
No, and I have a whole fridge full of it right now, and I'm so happy.
Like, there are I know this from Refuge on the manufacturing side. There's a lot of automation that we could be engaged in that we're not currently engaged in. And that's intentional. The only automation we have is the laser currently.
And the laser's freaking cool.
The laser's cool. Because what does the laser do? Like, my people asked me to get the laser. They're like, "Please, boss." It's
cutting, right?
Correct.
It's precision cutting.
They're like, "Please, boss, can you get us a laser so we don't have to cut all this stuff by hand?" I'm like, "Sure."
Seems reasonable.
And they're like, "Look, if you spend, buku bucks on this laser, then that'll buy our time back so we can do more of what we're good at, which is sewing."
And you're buying a single item that will support all of your people, but also will take up space to not hire someone else right now so that you can then hire someone else later to do a different job that cannot be automated. It frees up revenue.
Right. I want to hire people who can sew.
Yes.
Right. Because
you don't need to be hiring people to cut. We have the machine to cut.
Right. So
yeah, automation is awesome. AI is not. That's the right way to put that.
Yep.
I like that.
So, but if Refuge first aid kits were sewn by robots, they wouldn't feel the same.
Right.
They could be the same specification materials, same pattern, same thread, same hook and loop, same. It wouldn't feel right. That's one of the things I love going over to the sew shop and talking to the people over there, because there's a feel to it.
Yeah.
Right. And like Christine and Sandra and Jen are like, they're literally they have fingerprints on everything. Terry and James are over there, adding zippers and seaming, and like their fingerprints are literally on everything. There's a transference of energy there.
There's a heart to it.
Yeah, not to get super esoteric, but they're literally pouring their love into it. That's why when you get it, you feel it, and you're like, "Damn, this is awesome."
Yeah, it's different.
Speaking of all you flectards out there, the Green Day sale, has been extended and while supplies last. So our Frac T Camo Fractal Woodland, which is gorgeous. AI cannot pray over the medical products. That's correct.
Exactly.
Doing. Our Frac T Camo Fractal Woodland offerings. The bare facts sold out like that.
Of course it did.
Which is why you should be on the mailing list. They were just gone. There are a few Treks, TREK, Trek kits left, packed or bag only. That's our fanny pack option.
Okay.
So if you're a fanny pack person, that's the Trek, TREK. You can get it as a bag only or packed out. And then there's a handful of SOBs, small to back kits as well, and adventure kits. And so if you're interested in that, you can use promo code BearNation for 10% off, or you could use promo code nothing for nothing off, whatever you're into. And those are at refugemedical.com. And I would also add, we have classes coming up hot and heavy here pretty quick. So don't be an ass, come to class. There's still a few seats left for wilderness this spring, and a bunch of other stuff. Go cruise the website, refugemedical.com. Make sure you click the training tab. And with everything that we have going on out there in the world, and just everyday life, I strongly, strongly recommend you come to class and learn. And man, if I can teach a room full of 22, 5 to 12-year-olds and they can get it. We took their tourniquet time from 2 hours and 40 minutes down to 1 minute and 18 seconds.
Good.
Right? Well inside the 2 minute for you talk about a 5-year-old, right? A 5-year-old's nailing it. Just nailing it, right? And doing differential diagnosis. Come on. Like
at 5?
It's pretty banging.
Hey, we gotta raise up the next generation of Refuge Medical. Might as well start them young.
Thank you, Nancy. That was an awesome class. Nancy, you're an awesome person. William, Defender 1 is excellent. Yeah, thank you. Defender 1's our church security class. I don't know if we have another one of those on.
I think it's in July.
Yeah, it's all on the website, refugemedical.com. Now, speaking of awesome or potentially catastrophic things, Los Angeles Times, 7-ton meteor streaks across Cleveland sky, unleashes energy of 250 tons of TNT in massive boom. Now, if you've read the Bible, there will be signs and appointed times. Signs, okay, in the heavens, Genesis 1. A 7-ton meteor streaked across Cleveland sky Tuesday at 45,000 miles per hour, unleashing 250 tons of TNT energy in a boom heard across multiple states. My question is, what has Cleveland been doing that it has to get meteorited?
Being Cleveland, who knows?
NASA confirmed the nearly 6-foot diameter space rock traveled more than 34 miles to the atmosphere before fragmenting over Valley City, Ohio, north of Medina. Although meteors typically fall across the U.S. about once daily, this fireball's exceptional brightness made it visible from Wisconsin to Maryland.
That's a big stretch.
That's
kind of cool. I'm sure it was terrifying if you didn't know it was coming, but.
Okay, and then the other thing here, a meteor soared across Europe and possibly hit a house.
Can you imagine trying to explain that to your homeowner's insurance? Yeah, I need a new roof. I got hit by a meteor. That's just like, I feel like that raises your premiums immediately. This is clearly the most unlucky person on the planet.
That's definitely not in the homeowners. I can promise you that. Let's see. That rock came down low enough to show up on weather radar when it disintegrated. That's crazy. Okay.
That's cool.
Morning, brother.
But was their roof blue?
What's up, Simmerwell?
I do have homeowners insurance. There's tornadoes here, and I can't self-insure yet.
So meteors have, there's 4 continents now, including over in Europe, that significant meteors have been observed falling on over the last few weeks. And the question will be, what does it mean, Bear? I don't know. Signs and appointed times in the sky.
Someone in that area said that meteor sounded and felt like a semi hit our house while a tree fell on it, not buying the meteor apart.
Oof.
That's loud. Oof. That's wild.
What's up, Buckets and Bibles? You've been reading Joel? I read Joel yesterday.
Sorry, we don't cover space rocks.
Joel 2? Let me find my El Rectangulo.
Okay.
That's Spanish.
I'm gonna throw some links in the comments.
I'm very Spanish.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
See, I don't know if homeowners insurance covers meteors. I feel like it wouldn't.
Joel 2. Blow a shofar in Zion, which is not what you've been taught that it is, and sound an alarm in my set apart mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the earth tremble, for the day of Yahweh, the Lord, is coming, for it is near. A day of darkness and gloom, a day of clouds and thick darkness, like the morning clouds spread over the mountains. A people, many and strong, the like of whom has never been, nor shall ever be again after them, to the years of many generations. Ahead of them, a fire has consumed. Now, Joel is prophetic, and it's at the time of Joel, it was near-term, mid-term, and long-term prophetic, and it's 3 short chapters, and it's only about half fulfilled thus far. And it prophesies not only the first coming of Christ, but the second coming of Christ. Joel's a hardcore book. Ahead of them, a fire is consumed, and behind them a flame burns. Before them, the land is like the Garden of Eden, and behind them a desert waste. And from them there is no escape. Their appearance is like the appearance of horses, and they run like steeds. As the noise of chariots, they leap over mountain tops. The noise of a flaming fire consuming stubble is a mighty people set in battle array. Before them, peoples are in anguish. All faces become flushed. They run like mighty men. They climb the wall like men of battle. Everyone goes his way, and they do not break ranks. And they do not press one another. Everyone goes in his path. They fall among the weapons, but they do not stop. They rush the city wall. They run on the wall. They climb into houses. They enter into the windows like a thief. The earth shall tremble before them. The heavens shall shake. Sun and moon shall be darkened, and the stars withdraw their brightness. And Yahweh shall give forth his voice before his army, for his camp is very great. For mighty is the doer of his word. For the day of Yahweh is great and very awesome, and who does bear it? Yet even now, declares Yahweh, turn to me with all your heart, and with fasting, and with weeping, and with mourning. Tear your heart and not your garments, and turn back to Yahweh your Elohim, for he shows favor and is compassionate, patient, and of great loving commitment, and he shall relent concerning the evil. Who knows? He might turn and relent and leave a blessing behind him, a grain offering and a drink offering for Yahweh your Elohim. Blow a shofar in Zion, set apart a fast, call an assembly. Gather the people, set the assembly apart, assemble the elders, gather the children and nursing babes. Let a bridegroom come out of his room and a bride from her dressing room. And it goes on from there. But yeah, who'd have thought? Almost like the word is true or something. Almost like that.
Come out of the rabbit hole.
Sorry. Getting
Yep.
ruminant texts.
Yep.
You know how it be.
I do.
All right. You talked about KH.
Talked about KH. We talked about
I talked about
Grindstone
Refuge.
is out
Grindstone's
looking.
doing recon.
We talked about
If
Green
you-
Day sales.
If you want to party, grindstoneministries.com.
It-
Grindstoneministries.com.
It is already White Girl Wednesday career mode. The weeks get all blurry, and then the days get all blurry, and then here we are again.
Jesse Ortiz. Would you not, TJ? I know he has a video. Would you be willing to share how you observe Passover, how you get your family ready as a wife, mom?
Probably not. Not because the information isn't valid or needed, but just because that's a lot of me putting what would be perceived as spiritual guidance on the internet, and I am not comfortable with that.
Good answer. Bear, what scripture do you read?
The scriptures.
www.isr-messianic.org or grindstoneministries.com. You can buy them at our cost, and if you can't afford one, we'll give you one for free. And that goes for everybody listening right now. You need a copy of the scriptures and you just cannot afford one, you go to grindstoneministries.com and we'll just send you one.
We gave away a lot of Bibles on Saturday too, which was super cool.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Part of what we do.
It was very fun.
Part of what we do. All right. Shall we pray? Yes, we shall.
We should.
Good morning, Father Yahweh. Father, thank you for today. Thank you for allowing us to wake up this morning and giving us the opportunity to engage in work on your behalf that has meaning and purpose. Father, thank you for everybody within the sound of my voice. I know that some of them are just killing it today. And so I pray that you continue to smile on them, that you would blow your spirit all over them, your ruach, that you'd be the wind in their sails to go out and just accomplish mighty things in your name. And then the doing of that, you would continue to provide provision and protection and blessing for them and their households and their loved ones. Father, I know there's also people that are not doing well today. So I pray that you'd continue to be sovereign over them, their little pile of molecules, that your spirit would be indwelt in them, that you would not forget them nor turn your face from them, and that you would provide for them whatever it is that they need. And that you would do it in a way that's blatantly obvious that it's your hand, not the hand of man, to build a witness and a testimony in these brothers and sisters as to how good it is that you are and how sovereign it is that you are. Father, thank you that we have a way to come before your throne, that by the blood of Messiah, we could come and beseech you for intercession. Father, there's people here that need healing, that need acceptance, that need to grieve, that need a safe place to fall apart. So I pray that you'd minister to them today, and that you would heal them, that you would give them the opportunity to be accepted and loved and coddled in your arms, and begin the process of putting them back together again. Father, there's people here that don't know you and desperately want to. And so I pray that you continue to tear down the walls of their heart, that you would be ruthless with them in love and compassion, that you would just crush them with your sovereignty, that you would convict them with your spirit, and that you would just drag them kicking and screaming back home again. I pray that you'd minister and witness to all the prodigal sons, those that have run away and hated out in the cold, and that you'd make a way individually for them, just for them, to come back home again. Father, I pray that you'd be manifested in our lives today, that we would find a way to focus on the peace and the joy and the happiness and the fulfillment, not the world as it burns. I pray that you'd give us energy to not be tired, to be filled up, to do the works that you've appointed to us as sons and daughters in your house. Father, thank you for all the myriads of good works you're doing in us and through us, and the humility to know that it's you, not us. Thank you for all the lives that you're touching and restoring and healing. Thank you for the Word and the Word made flesh. Thank you for loving us enough to make the way, not a way, but the way for us to come home again by the blood of Messiah. Thank you for continuing to walk with us and giving us a model to walk in. Thank you for our daily bread. Thank you for forgiveness of our transgressions. I pray that you'd continue to tarry with us, that you'd be indwelt in us, so that when the world sees us, they actually see you. Please continue to keep our lamps full, our wicks trimmed, and our light lit, so we can be your hands and feet. Empower us to good works in your name for the preservation of life. Father Yahuwah, we love you, and we praise you in Yeshua's name. Amen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's up with my voice today. I don't know if it's allergies or what, but so it's a little gravelly.
There's a lot of pollen right now.
Trees.
Rinsing my eyes out twice a day.
Fire hose.
Yeah.
All right. I love you guys. Share the show. Happy White Girl Wednesday. Go do something noteworthy. Whatever that looks like for you.
Cool.
Yeah. Use your head and your hands and your heart for awesomeness today.
Yeah.
Be the light. And we'll be back live next Wednesday for White Girl Wednesday. And I don't know. I'll probably do a sit rep or a brief in between now and then.
You probably should. They're going to get sick of me eventually.
I should tell them there's 1,300 of them here.
What?
I am not prioritizing content creation right now.
We have a meeting about that in like 30 minutes.
Yeah. And it's not because I don't love you guys. It's just that it's only so many hours in the day. Of course, Patreon will continue to Patreon. It always does. There's a lot of content in the bank over there, and Pelt and Mastery Tier and all that's all continuing. But over here on this side,
doing what we can do.
Yeah. Trying to not grow weary in the doing of good, to be honest. Mm-hmm. And it's typically this time of year I attempt to take a sabbatical anyway. Attempt being the operative word, and it ain't gonna happen. I got too much stuff to do. But I don't know. Don't freak out. The sky's not red if you don't see me.
Yeah,
please don't guess what I'm trying to say. If the sky turns red, I will let you know. And in the meanwhile, if you see me slightly less than usual, it's me, not you.
Don't panic.
Don't panic. All right. Love you guys. See you when I see you. Bye.